All right. Welcome back to the shop. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to get on. I finished up high voltage number 11, and today I'm testing out. I have a new webcam, and I had to get a new computer because my computer went on the fritz. So I'm trying it out, and let's see how it works. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some wing skins. I'm gonna try something more work on the composite front, but this time I have a set of foam cores that I'm going to use from one of my high voltages, and I'm going to make up skins, and I'm only going to put glass on one side of the skin and use the foam core as the structure just to see how it comes out weight wise and stiffness wise. And also, off camera, I cut a set of stab sheeting. Gonna do the same thing too on a set of foam cores as well. So what I'm gonna do is get the sheeting together, and then I'll run them through my thickness planer to get them down, take some weight off them, and I'm gonna make them pretty thin. 'Cause I'm using the foam structure, really be able to have the stability in it and the strength. All right, so here we go. So I selected out. I'm using here 1/16 by 4, and this is five. This is probably 6 pound wood. This is all. They're 14 grams each. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make each skin, and then I'll thin them out, and then I'll glue them together. All right. So the way I do this, is I notice I lay out on my table here just to make it easier for me because I'm trying to really get the seams in places where they won't split or have a problem with them. So this I got 33-inch marks here running parallel to this edge, and then I have the what would be the leading edge mark here on both sides. So if you look, I got the trailing edge piece which I squared up on both ends, so that'll go in like that. And I have this piece here, which is the angle. I'm trying to keep the seam away from the curvature, and then right there. Yep. And if I look, I'm just past all the lines pretty good. Um, this seam is good. This seam needs a little bit of work. That's a better side there. Okay. So that's how one set of sheeting is done, and I'm going to show you how I do it now. Okay, so that's one set. Now for the trailing edge, what I did was I really grated the wood good, and like for example, I'm using C grain wood or BC grain wood. That's usually the straightest and the stiffest. Not, and it's not good for going around curves, but it will lock in very nicely. So, all right, first things first, we got to square up all the edges, and I need a new blade. I don't know if I've shown this before, but what I do is all of the spent Exacto blades, I put them in this coffee cup I have. And what I'll do when I'm done is I'll just take some epoxy or glue and just pour it in there and then throw it out. And not have to worry about it getting cut with a razor. All right, so we're going to square up the edges. Let's just take a look. That's pretty good on that side. Wow, that's pretty straight. C grain is usually the straightest pieces you're going to get. Wow, that's dead on. Okay, we're going to do nothing with this piece. It's a pretty dead piece. Here's interesting. I got a cutoff piece. I want to see if this will work. I don't know if it will. We'll try it. You get lucky and save a sheet, but I usually don't have that kind of luck. Oh, well, I can't be this lucky. No way. Okay, it's pretty lucky. All right, there's another set of sheeting ready to go. And again, using a piece of sea green. I was able to save using a sheet. There's a bow in this sheet. Yeah, there's a bow in this sheet. So I lay the straight edge down, and I just take off about a 16, 32nd in some spots, just to trim it straight. So you really want to make sure these are straight because this is where this will really make the difference in your seams. Okay, so that piece is good. Now what I look for the leading edge piece is a piece that's the grain has really good A grain. Like this one is really good. Okay. Wow, that's pretty straight. So I'll just move it to the edge of the table. All right. So then I'll take the leading edge piece. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take a little bit out of it. All right, pretty good fit up there. Good, happy with it. Third set. Wow, it's pretty straight on both ways. C grain pieces are usually typically straight. Not always, but typically. That's a terrible piece. So I'll put the piece in. This should be nice now. Okay, that piece fits in over here. And they don't bend and they don't fit. Right, so that piece I cut before looks like it's going to work. Let's just see. So now I'm going to hold this piece up here. Okay, just a small trim. Making wing skins. This is one of those things that just you got to take your time with. Okay. All right, so being able to use those pieces, it just turns out that I was able to save 2 sheets, not having to use them. That's good. Wow. All right. Hmm. Let's take just a little bit off this one. I can see a slight challenge there. Again, the better the fit up on the seams, the less likelihood you'll have a problem later. Um, you don't want to be forcing them together. Like you can put a little pressure on them. This sheet of wood I got from Sig. Okay. All right, so that's the last sheet. So again, I try to use sea green on the trailing edge. I think that's important because it will keep everything nice and straight. I don't need the knives. All right. So now I'm gonna have to get out my sander. This is where I need a bigger shop. All right. All right. Here's my planer or sander. It's a Barnes. Unfortunately, they don't make them anymore. But this is a pretty good precision piece. Let me clean the tape. Sandpaper's still good. It's pretty fresh. Now. So I just use the heat gun to soften up the vacuum hose. All right. Let's get the scale. All right, so I got my scale here as well because I really want to see what weight we're getting down to on certain pieces. Um, we'll do the elevators first. I mean, the stab first. What I really like about this thing is pretty precision. It's very precise. All right, so this is another set I had. This is 1/32, really hard wood. I'm just gonna do a little test with that one first. All right, so we're gonna turn it on. Hold on, let me just see. Oops, way. Okay. This first piece weighs 9 grams. And we'll check the thickness here. We'll make the thickness 67 thousandths. All right, so the first cut will be on the back side, and then I'll make the other subsequent widths on the finish side. All right, I'm gonna get a block of wood to do this on. I have. All the flat side. Yes. Hmm. Let me see if this will hold this week. No, it's not gonna. All right, it'll be fine. Just gotta be careful when I feed it through. If you lift it up at all, you'll get ridges in it. Like you can see right here on the end. I mean, you can't really see it, but right there, I got a little where the disc dug in. So I have to be really careful feeding it through. I may feed it halfway one way, halfway the other. Yeah. All right, so ran the first one through. It started about 67 thousandths, is now down to 34 thousandths. The weight started at 9 grams. We're now down to about 4 grams. So I cut the weight in half. Um, and again, the beauty of this is really just going to be able to, the foam will definitely keep the structure of it, and I'll just really be able to put glass on the outside, and it should have a really nice finish here. Okay, so first one done. All right. All right, so I finished sanding all down. And I started out with the 16th 4-pound wood, which weighed 9 grams, and I machined it down to 35 thousandths, two of them, and weight-wise, they're about 0.3, a little more than a quarter of an ounce, or 9 grams. It's pretty good. These are going to work out really nice. Then I had some hard 32nd, which was probably 7.5-pound wood, and I mean, I went down to about 12 thousandths thickness on this, just to see what it would, if it would get down to the same weight. And it does. I mean, it's 10 grams there. So, but it's really, really thin, and this will have to be double glass to be used. Um, so we're gonna try it and see if it works. Um, and that would be a good use of heavy balsa, so 7, 8 pound balsa. You can get down to a really good weight. I know the other sheeting, I machined this down to 35 thousandths, and total of all the sheeting weighs 78 grams or 2.75 ounces, down from 5 something, almost 6 ounces. So pretty much cut half the weight off just by taking off, well, half the thickness, right? So the math kind of works out. Um, but yeah, so pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And again, that was six. I started out with 6 pound balsa on the wing sheeting. So they get down to about 6, 7 grams each. Uh, the first set of stabs is 4 pound balsa. And it got really light. It's down. It's probably the better of the two. The other 1/32 really hard wood, almost 8 pound wood. It's down. I got to cut it down to about 10 thousandths to get it. Well, probably about 12 thousandths to get the same weight. Um, don't know how that's going to affect the strength, but it will. It's certainly going to need to be glassed on both sides, for sure. Um, but hey, we're going to try it. See what we get. All right. So let's put this away. I need a bigger shot. Anyway. All right, so the stabs are done. They're just ready to mold up. Make it a block. And my scale for now. All right. Now to start putting them together. Not a fun. And what am I really trying to do here? I'm trying to figure out the way to make the stiffest, lightest wing and stab I can make. Uh, so I've had success with um, making composite on both sides where I'm pulling it through glass. Now I'm going to try with a foam component, making the skin and then putting it on the foam sheeting and putting it on the foam wing to see how what the overall weight comes out as. I would love to get down to like a 12, 10, well, about 11-ounce wing. That would be really, really good. All right. Okay, so this is the trailing edge. First one. All right, so I've done 4 other videos. All right. What you don't want to do is bunch it up. All right, so what I'll use Scotch tape. Now the seams here are pretty good. They're not. They're real. I mean, they're good. So I definitely got to use a ruler on both sides to hold it down because the thinner the material, the more wavier it gets. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. All right. All right. Now we're going to glue the seam up here. Actually, we're going to just tape the seam first. So I use regular Scotch tape, and for whatever reason, CA does not stick to it. So what you want to do is get the seam closed on one end there. And as you work through it, without pushing it up, without cupping this thing up, you want to close the seams. Okay. Now I'll put the next one on. All right, now what we'll do is, where is it? I use thick CA here. I need a couple paper towels. What I'll do is I'm going to prop it up. I'm trying to see if I can hold it up now. Mm, perfect. So what I'm trying to do here is just open the seam. So what I want to do is open the seam so that I can get the glue down in. All right, so that's one seam done. And what you want to do is just babysit it, make sure it doesn't pop up anywhere. Really just make sure it's down nice and flat. Okay. All right, now for the other one. I was just getting glue on both, good amount of glue on both sides of the seam and through the other side. Because you don't want these seams to split open. And now what I'll do is hold it down. You got a few seconds with thick CA. You got about 30 seconds, which is more time than you think. Oh. What I'll do is I'll get a sanding block. 600. Reach differently. Put up some sticky back paper on a 320 block. Just lightly sand the joint. Whatever dust will fall into the joints, I'll finish kicking off the glue. Now remember, this is not the finish, all right? So, okay. What we'll do, I'm going to mark the sheeting to cut it. Alright, so the machine's ready to be cut. We'll cut that on a pad. Do that now, actually, with a pad. I found, especially with cross grain, you're best to cut it off a pad and a really sharp blade. So this is a pretty sharp blade here, but just the other thing is we're going to try and mold the tips in this one in the former. So we're gonna. So I do get a piece to pull it around. The pad just really helps cutting across grain because the razor sinks into it and doesn't pull the wood. You cut cross grain, what happens? You pull wood, it wants to split with the grain. What I'll do is I'll put this right up on the edge, stick it a little bit off. Just clean the edge up. What you'll find is the glue may not be 100% kicked off on this side, which is good. For whatever reason, the glue doesn't like to stick to the Scotch tape. CA and epoxy, for whatever reason, don't really like to stick to Scotch tape. So that's what I like to use it. You can still feel the joints are not fully dry yet, which is okay, because then what I'll do is I'm going to stand on them, and any dust should go in and help kick off the glue. That's a 320 on a block, just going over the seam nice and lightly. You're wiping the excess dust off. And there you go. You got a wing skin. Not too shabby. All right, I gotta do the other three off camera. Not really exciting stuff, but I gotta get used to looking at the camera up there. It's different. So one, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. As you watch me build out the next high voltage, doing some experimenting here on the wings and the stab. I'm gonna see how light and stiff we can get things. So this is a little bit of a test piece. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I got a feeling it'll be good. So thanks for watching. And if you like the videos, click the like button. Tell your friends. Thanks, everyone.